Well, welcome to my garage. We're continuing on the winter upgrades for the Z28. I ordered a bunch of small odds and ends, mainly suspension pieces to try to improve the 60-foot and the traction. This is all the old suspension. We had some BMR lower A-arms with factory uppers, 4th gen strange brakes with factory spindles. And we're going to be transitioning to some Midwest Chassis A-arms with their upper plate. And then I've got a Burkhart Chassis spindle with 3rd gen brakes. And some new AFCO shocks. They've been revalved by Vicious Performance, Yancey down there. So hopefully this thing should 60 foot pretty good. I'm pretty excited. Saved about 35 pounds between the suspension pieces and the new turbo. So I did upgrade turbos. Went from a S485 Jose turbo to a Jose S494. So pretty excited about that. That should get this car plenty capable of running 7s. Only trying to run 850s at drag week. But at most of the drag week events, the drag and drive events, they're not the best tracks as far as radial prep. It's semi-prep usually, and then depending where you go in the run order, heat of the day, it can definitely lose some of the traction. So I need the car to be able to run a little faster than 850 so I can have a conservative tune-up and still run that class competitively. So I'm pretty excited. Joe's probably going to help out with some of the welding. We've got some new torque tick boxes that showed up. Pretty excited about those. Jonathan Atkins with Grubworm designed these, him and his guys over there. So that'll give me a couple more holes for the lower control arms. Should change the anti-squat. I think my calculations were 135 right now. That should get me up into the 175 range max. I don't know that I'll need that much. You have to start controlling the separation with the shocks. According to Joe, the faster 60-foot times were with minimum separation off the hit. Hopefully that probably doesn't upset the tire, doesn't separate, the car just goes forward. So pretty excited to get all this stuff on. So take you along with me and show you some of the upgrades. That one's not really getting anything today. It's got some winter upgrades for it, but little stuff. Bigger intercooler, put the radiator shroud in. Got some cooling ducts coming for the fog lights from C7 Carbon, so should really help the cooling on it. Also need to send the torque converter back off to Circle D and get a triple disc upgrade. Should help out with 1/4 mile up top mile per hour. But lots of projects going on, so I just thought I'd take you guys along and show you part of the build. Excuse the mess. It's tough when you got 3 race cars. You gotta acquire a lot of tools and a lot of spare parts, and there's usually always something to work on. So come on, we'll get started and see if we can't wrap up the suspension piece on the Camaro. So. It's about 6 hours later from the start of this video. Finally got everything installed, at least on the suspension. The turbo hasn't found a new home just yet. It's going to take a little bit of modifications to the hot side. But this is what the suspension turned out. Got the new strange brakes mocked up, and wheel bearings on. Shocks are in, shock sensors in, upper lower A-arms. Still need to align the car. New tie rod end links. So, but like I was saying, 35 pounds weight savings. Pretty happy on this old street car. I think last time out the car weighed 3450. So pulling 35 pounds out sure will help this season. May even put a new hatch with some Lexana in one of these days. Try to really cut some weight out of her, maybe even tube the front end. So you never know. Bucket list would be to add a 25.3 cage to the car eventually. Maybe make it run fast enough to actually need that. But for now, we'll just throw some small parts at it and see how quick she runs and go from there. Well, thought I'd give you guys an update how the install went. It wasn't bad. So highly recommend Burkhart and Midwest. Man, those guys took care of me and actually had everything kind of in stock. So until next time, see you guys.